fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The pine-scented night presses against my skin, heavy with damp earth and the metallic bite of fresh blood. Every breath I draw tastes of sap and iron, a strange cocktail that makes my throat tighten. Cool breath of the forest wraps around me like a shroud, each gust carrying rustling leaves and distant wolf howls that echo my racing heart. I slam my back against an ancient oak, its bark rasping into my shoulders, a cruel promise of shelter and restraint. The rough bark digs into my flesh, reminding me even trees can be unforgiving, their bark like old, cracked skin that refuses to give up its secrets. Moonlight slashes through the canopy, carving Kale's hulking silhouette into a living statue of shadow and muscle. He stands, a towering figure of dark fur and iron-gray eyes, his presence filling the clearing like a storm about to break. The moon catches the glint of his fur, turning each strand into a silver thread that trembles with the wind. His short, ragged breaths fog the air around his snout, the scent of pine mixing with the sharp tang of iron clinging to his skin. I can feel the vibration of his heartbeat against the ground, a low thrum that seems to sync with my own frantic pulse. His dagger sinks into my trembling hand, the cold steel humming against my palm. The blade catches moonlight flashing silver, and I can see the faint etching of runes along its edge, symbols I have never seen before, yet they feel familiar, as if they belong to a story written in my blood. I feel the vibration of metal on flesh, a reminder that I am no longer mere prey, but a participant in a game I barely understand. Kale's black claws brush my wrist, leaving a fleeting scorch that sings of both wound and protection. The heat of his touch lingers for a heartbeat before fading into a sting that pulses like a warning. "Eyes on me, little rabbit," he growls, his voice a low rumble that vibrates through my bones, making my heart pound like a war drum. The words are both command and promise, a promise that I will not be allowed to look away, that I must confront the darkness that lives within us both. I swallow hard, feeling the taste of copper on my tongue, and I force my gaze to meet his. His eyes are storm clouds, swirling with grief and fury, yet there is something softer hidden beneath the tempest, a flicker of something that could be hope, or perhaps a memory of a life before the hunt. Heat rises from his breath, mingling iron and pine with something wilder, raw, animalistic, primal. I taste copper on my tongue, feel the moisture of his exhalation on my cheek, and sense an electric thrill that runs from his chest to the hollow of my throat. My body aches for his dominance, for the dangerous intimacy that burns between us, even as fear claws at my mind. I wonder if I am the one being hunted or the one doing the hunting now. The line between predator and prey blurs with each breath, each heartbeat. A rustle behind us makes my skin prickle. Darien steps from the shadows, his dark eyes alight with hunger that mirrors Kale's, yet his hunger feels different, more calculated, more patient. He moves with the grace of a panther, each step silent on the moss-soft ground. His hand slides over my waist, fingers digging into flesh, claiming me with a possessive pressure that sends shivers through my spine. The contact is electric, a jolt that makes my breath catch. I can feel the heat of his palm, the faint scent of smoked amber that clings to him, a reminder of fires long extinguished. "Did you think you could escape us?" Darien whispers, his voice a silk-threaded threat that wraps around my throat. The words are soft, but they cut deeper than any blade. I can hear the hunters' torches flicker in the distance, casting trembling shadows that dance across our entwined forms. The flames paint the trees in orange and gold, turning the night into a living tapestry of light and darkness. The blood moon hangs low, a swollen scar in the sky, its pale light washing over the clearing. I can hear its low howl, a mournful sound that seems to count down 3, 2, 1. The world holds its breath, and I realize the only thing I truly fear is losing the fierce, forbidden love that has ignited within this night. My mind races, a storm of thoughts and memories. I remember the first time I saw Kale, his silhouette against a sunrise that painted the mountains crimson. He had been a lone wolf, eyes like polished obsidian, and I had been a wandering minstrel, humming songs of lost kingdoms. Our paths crossed in a valley of whispering reeds, and the world seemed to tilt on its axis. I had felt his gaze before he even spoke, a weight that settled on my chest like a stone. Now here, under the blood moon, that weight feels like a chain I cannot break. Kale steps closer, his massive form casting a shadow that engulfs me. He lifts his hand, the dagger still glinting in his grip, and presses it gently against my cheek. The cold metal kisses my skin, sending a shiver down my spine. "You belong to the night," he murmurs, his breath warm against my ear, "and the night belongs to us." I close my eyes, letting the words sink into the marrow of my bones. The night is alive, breathing, pulsing with the rhythm of countless unseen hearts. I can hear the rustle of leaves, the distant howl of wolves, the crackle of distant fire. Each sound is a thread in a tapestry that binds us together. Tell me, I whisper, my voice trembling like a leaf in a storm, why do you keep me here? Why this dance of pain and pleasure? Kale's eyes soften for a heartbeat, the storm clouds parting to reveal a glimpse of something tender. Because you are the fire that lights my darkness, he says, his voice barely more than a sigh. Because without you, the night would be empty, a hollow echo of what it could be. Darian watches us, his expression unreadable. He steps forward, his hand still resting on my waist, and his thumb brushes the scar that runs along my ribcage, a scar I earned the night I fled the village that tried to burn me for my gifts. We are bound by blood, by fate, he says, his tone low and reverent. Your magic, my strength, Kale's fury, we are three pieces of a broken mirror, reflecting a truth we cannot yet see. The words settle over me like a blanket of frost, and I feel the chill seep into my bones. I think of the night I first discovered my ability to hear the whispers of trees, to feel the pulse of the earth beneath my feet. I thought it was a curse, a burden that set me apart. Now, surrounded by these two men, one a beast of raw power, the other a hunter with eyes that see through the veil, I realize it may be a gift. The hunter's torches grow brighter, their shadows stretching like skeletal fingers toward us. I can hear their chants, low and guttural, invoking ancient rites that promise victory over the unknown. The air thickens with incense and fear, each breath a struggle against the weight of destiny. Will you stay? I ask, my voice barely audible over the wind. Will you stay when the world tries to tear us apart? Kale's claws trace a line down my arm, leaving a faint, glowing scar that pulses with a soft blue light. I will stay, he promises, his tone fierce yet gentle. I will stand beside you, even when the world crumbles. Darian leans in, his lips brushing my ear, his breath hot and scented with pine resin. And I, he whispers, will protect you from the shadows that seek to consume you. The blood moon reaches its apex, bathing the clearing in a crimson glow that makes the leaves look like they are on fire. The howl of the moon intensifies, a mournful wail that seems to echo the beating of my heart. I feel the world narrowing to this moment, the three of us bound by a promise that feels both ancient and brand new. I close my eyes again, letting the sensations wash over me. The rough bark of the oak presses into my back, the cool night air kisses my skin, the scent of pine and iron fills my nostrils, and the warmth of Kale's and Darian's bodies against me creates a cocoon of safety. I can hear the distant drums of the hunters, but they feel far away now, as if muffled by a veil of magic. Remember, Care says, his voice a low chant, the night is not our enemy. It is our ally, our witness, our keeper of secrets. I nod, feeling the truth of his words settle deep within me. The night has always been a companion, a silent observer of my dreams and fears. Now it becomes a stage for a love that defies the rules of the world. The hunters' chants reach a crescendo, and a sudden flash of light erupts from the torches, illuminating the clearing in a blaze of orange and gold. For a heartbeat, I see the faces of the hunters, stern, determined, eyes glazed with fear and reverence. Then the light fades and the night reclaims its darkness. In that instant, I feel a surge of power rise from within me, a pulse that matches the rhythm of the forest itself. My hands glow faintly, a soft amber light that spreads across my skin. I realize that I'm not just a pawn in their game. I am a conduit, a bridge between the wild and the civilized, between Kale's raw fury and Darian's calculated grace. Together, I say, my voice steady now, we will rewrite the story they have written for us. Kale lifts his dagger not as a weapon but as a symbol and holds it aloft. The blade catches the moonlight, scattering shards of silver across the trees. Darian steps forward, his own sword drawn, its edge humming with a low, resonant tone. The two of them stand beside me, their silhouettes forming a triangle of strength and resolve. The hunters, seeing our unity, falter. Their torches sputter, their chants waver, and a hush falls over the clearing. The blood moon seems to pulse in response, its light dimming and brightening like a heartbeat. I take a step forward, feeling the earth beneath my feet, the moss soft and alive. I raise my hands and the amber glow intensifies, spreading like sunrise across the forest floor. The scent of pine deepens, mingling with the sweet fragrance of wildflowers that bloom in the moonlight. The night air vibrates with a song, an ancient melody that only those who listen with their hearts can hear. Kale's eyes meet mine, and in that gaze I see a promise of protection, of fierce love that will not waver. Darian's stare is steady, his grip on his sword firm, his loyalty unspoken but palpable. The hunters, now trembling, lower their torches. One by one they step back, their faces turning away, as if the night itself has swallowed their resolve. The clearing becomes quiet, the only sounds the soft rustle of leaves and the distant howl of wolves, now a lullaby rather than a warning. We stand there, three silhouettes against the dying glow of the blood moon, the world holding its breath. I feel the weight of destiny lift, replaced by a lightness I have never known. The night, once a veil of fear, now feels like a blanket of possibility. Come, Kale says, his voice gentle, let us walk the forest together. There are paths yet unseen, stories yet untold. Darian nods, his hand still resting on my waist, a silent vow that he will never let the darkness claim me again. I smile, the corners of my mouth lifting as the first rays of dawn begin to pierce the canopy, painting the world in hues of gold and rose. The pine-scented night recedes, but its memory lingers, a reminder of the night we forged a bond that defied the world. Hand in hand with Kale and Darian, I step into the forest, the ground humming beneath our feet, the future stretching before us like a tapestry waiting to be woven. The love that sparked in the darkness now burns bright, a beacon for all who dare to love beyond the limits of fear.